Hi guys, happy Tuesday. How are you doing? Once again, it's Tuesday, so here I am with the live, and I realized that my hair looks really short today, kind of like I'm wearing a helmet. Whatever, here I am. Hello. So we're going to talk about getting better at explaining your value to potential clients. This is something I was actually talking about with one of my bookkeeper friends earlier today. She was on a sales call and she was trying to explain. She felt caught off guard. Like she was asked a question like, well, tell me what the results will be if I work with you, or tell me how bookkeeping will make my business better. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys have had that moment where it's just like you have that question and you just kind of like blank out from the stress, or it's just like, I know this question, but I can't recall it, or perhaps you don't feel like you have a clear answer for it. So anyways, I want to go into why it matters more to like explain your value, being able to explain it, ways to get better at handling it, both like in live conversations and otherwise, and also some deeper reasons why you might be struggling with it and how to get past them. So anyways, so communicating about your business and your value matters. So I found these quotes from Warren Buffett and Richard Branson today that really stood out to me. Warren Buffett said, the easy way to become worth 50% more than you are now is to hone your communication skills, both written and verbal. So this is a billionaire. It matters to get your messaging and your communication improved and good. It makes a difference in your business. Richard Branson said something similar. He said today, if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, you also have to be a storyteller. It's no good to be a storyteller if your product or idea is rubbish, but it's not enough to create a great product. You also have to work out how to let people know about it. So communication is just an essential part of your business. And again, unless you've hired someone, and I've covered this before, unless you've hired someone to do your marketing and promoting, you're it. You're the marketing team. And I know that for some people it's difficult and hard, but you're your marketing team. So the sooner you can get better at it, the better it is. So this is supposed to help you with getting your messaging better, because it does matter for your business. So once again, we're going into how to better explain your value to potential clients. And guess what? Kind of like when I talk about your About Me page, your About Me page is less about you than it is about your clients. So the same thing applies here when it comes to explaining your value. Explaining your value to your clients is less about you. It's more about, on an inside level, it's like believing it yourself that you have something valuable to give. But also, it's about understanding your client. Your value is tied to what you can give to them, okay? So there are 3 levels I want to cover this on today. Internally, one-way communications, and two-way communications. So internally, what I mean by that is when it comes to explaining your value, both as a professional or whatever, you have to understand and believe your own value first, both as a person and as a professional. So I'll get into that a little bit more and how that could affect things and why it's important to address. So the other thing I want to talk about is one-way communication. So this is stuff that where people will read it but won't have like a live conversation with you really. So this could be your website, this may be your emails, this may be social media, other platforms like that, where you're trying to communicate the value of what you give without being a conversation necessarily. And then two-way communications. This is when someone gets on the phone call with you and you get a chance to sell them something. This is in, like personal emails back and forth. This is in, direct messaging, whether that's on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. So there are different ways to do it. But let's jump in. Okay, like I said, if you want to communicate your value well, you have to understand and own your own value first, okay? The internal level is super, super important. So I have this broken down into 2 different things: personal internal worth and professional internal worth. So there's this great quote that I was introduced to. I've been working with Gabby. She has this Dreamer to Doer course that I am a part of, and she had a whole thing about imposter syndrome, which is fantastic. If you know Gabby Abrams, you should go work with her. But the quote is, "The lies you believe about your worth are crippling you." This is by Tracy Litt. The lies you believe about your worth are crippling you. So if you feel like you don't have any value to give, you're like hamstringing yourself. You're limiting what you can do. You have this belief that you're maybe not that smart, maybe not as good, and whatever, and that limits what you can do. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Hi, Inez. Oh, I'm glad you like this. Good. So when it comes to personal, like internal worth, and also just talking well about yourself. So for example, it's just like I was raised, like in the Midwest in a conservative Baptist home. It was better to be modest, to not talk too much about, the things you achieved. And that's something I've kind of had to work through as far as like dealing with that personal internal worth and being able to say, I've done great things. I'm totally a cool person that can help you. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you kind of have to think about your, the stuff in your person that may make you pause before talking well about your business, that may make you feel awkward vouching for yourself. Thanks, Anita. Because if you don't deal with that, you won't talk about it effectively. So if you don't believe you're worth it, it's going to come across in your messaging. Clients can sniff it out. It's just like, well, if you don't believe in yourself, why should I? So you kind of have to deal with it on that deeper personal level. Once again, it's okay that dealing with, like your self-worth and being able to call yourself strong, call yourself smart, call yourself capable and amazing at what you do. It's okay that that's a work in process and that you're still dealing with like those personal self-worth things. But that personal stuff does affect your business, so don't discount it. Take the time to work on it. Journaling works well for me. You can always message me for more information on that. I have a lot to cover, so I don't want to get too much bogged down in this. But another thing that works really well for me when it comes to helping me get past that, like the personal self-worth issues I have, I talk to Ido. So Ido is great. He's someone who believes in me, who loves me, supports me. Find someone like that in your life. So when I'm having a hard time feeling like, maybe people just shouldn't work with me, because like we all have these days. We all do. Find someone who will help talk to you and tell you why you're wrong. When I had days where I'm like, I don't know if this business is gonna work, I don't think I know enough, I'm not experienced enough, all of this like personal stuff, and like, I don't know how to promote myself, I feel weird doing it, I would talk to him, and he's like, you have a skill that's amazing, that really helps people, that people respond to, that's making a difference in their businesses. Talk to them, help them set you straight when it comes to your personal value. But once again, you really have to work on it on your own too. So I would encourage journaling and things of that nature. So that's your personal internal worth. So if you have issues like hanging up from that, like I said, with like, being told to be modest as a kid and stuff like that, it affects how you present the value of your business. But another thing that I run into myself and that I've seen other people run into is your professional internal worth. So some people get hung up on the fact that they don't have enough of X. I need more certifications. I need another degree. I need a higher level of experience. All that stuff. There's always something more that they don't have yet. So, I want to give you a couple examples. So, okay, like, say your excuse is, I need a certain certification for people to hire me. I need certain experience. So for some professions, yeah, I'm not going to go to a doctor if you didn't go to medical school, of course. But in general, as long as you're able to demonstrate how you can help people solve their problems, achieve their goals, avoid the failures they're afraid of, the letters behind your name and the framed documents on their walls aren't really as important to them. If you can help them, that's what matters, and it's just a matter of explaining it. So I actually had something today. It was a weird day where I had a bunch of doctor's appointments. It's a long story. So just because someone has letters behind their name or has more experience, as far as like someone else in your field, doesn't necessarily mean they're better at what they do. I had an orthopedic doctor's appointment today. It was a new person, and I'm never going back there again. He was recommended to me by my family doctor. He has years of experience. He had all of the right degrees and certifications on the wall, but there was so much about the experience that was bad for me. I waited 45 minutes before he showed up for my appointment. He didn't listen when I was in the office. His receptionists were unhelpful and never answered the phone. It just rang and rang and rang. I had to repeat things to the doctor. He would ask me the same question 3 times, which made it obvious he wasn't listening to me. And he was distracted and actually playing on his cell phone on the appointment. just because he had these like certifications didn't mean anything as far as like the experience or how it felt me. It may have gotten me in the door, but it didn't mean I stayed. And I'm not going back. So just because he had that stuff didn't mean he was the best. You can definitely explain your value without having those letters behind your name. Don't feel like you have to get another degree, another certification. Inez, oh yeah, it was, it was crazy. It was not good. Um, so, so some people feel like that they need that I have to get another degree before I can serve clients. No, you can serve clients where you are right now, and you can find a way to explain your messaging. This is how I help people. Oh, thanks, Inez. So another excuse sometimes people have when it comes to that professional internal worth, they think I need a certain certification before I feel comfortable enough or content enough to really get into my business. But something I want to assure you is you're going to have to work with where you're at and find your professional value right now in your present, because I promise you do have a lot of it. I have an example from my first marriage. I used to be married to this guy who was literally the smartest person I've met in real life. So, but he was never happy, and he always felt like his professional contentment was one step away. So the problem is, I kept hearing this is the phrase I heard over again. I'll be happy when I get my undergrad. And he got that. Okay, I'll be happy and feel confident once I get my graduate degree. Okay, I'll be happy and confident once I get my first job. He works at Boeing. He's brilliant. Got the first. I'll be happy when I get my first raise. Got that. Okay, that wasn't a very good. I'll be happy when I get my second. This continued forever. There was always a reason why he didn't feel confident or content enough. And you're going to have to find a way to look at where you are and see the value where you are right now. Again, this isn't about needing another external stamp. I know you feel like you may need it, but you don't. Where you are right now, you can help people. You can learn as you go. That's part of the journey. So when it comes to that, like kind of like that education imposter syndrome, it's okay. You don't need to have all those certifications. Again, are you helping people, and are you showing how you can help them? Another element of this that I see is like, comparisonitis, right? And I I have this too, for sure. Everyone else is more experienced than me. Everyone else is more educated than me. Everyone else is getting more clients than me. Everyone else is doing it better than me, okay? And guess what? I'm just gonna put this out here right now. To an extent, you're probably right. There are a lot of people who are in your field who may be smarter than you, have a bigger team, have a bigger budget, maybe smarter, maybe have more certifications. But the important thing here is to like address this issue with like the binary thinking. I can only help if I'm the best. Why is being the best necessary? If you aren't the best, are you really worthless? That's not true at all. You have so much to give. And there's also so many people who need the help. Even the best can't serve everyone in that field. You can do so much good exactly where you are and exactly who you are. So for example, I do content marketing. I do content strategy. There are giants out there way better than me with way more resources. Donald Miller, Seth Godin, Neil Patel. I'm not in that ballpark, right? So why in the world would anyone hire me? But they do. I focus on and listen to my clients. I listen to what they need, and they trust that I can help them solve their problems, and they like me. And that's enough. So don't get too worried about comparing yourself to other people in your field. Focus on doing what you do well. This is actually something I've been reading about in this wonderful book called Story Driven by this woman, Bernadette Jiwa. She's someone who actually was like a mentor for Seth Godin. And I love this quote that she has. Basically, if you get focused on competing with other people in your field, you lose your focus on your purpose in your business. So the quote from the book is, in a commercial world, we're conditioned to compete. But you can't thrive if you spend the majority of your time competing with and comparing yourself to others. Differentiation happens when you authentically amplify the best of yourself, discovering how to be more of who you are, rather than finding ways to be a version of the competition. And I know that you fall into the trap of like, I need to be like them if I'm going to succeed. You can learn from them, sure, but you don't have to be like them. You need to be the most of yourself. You really do. There are other people who do what I do, but I don't focus on what they're doing. I focus on my clients, I focus on my direction, and so far it's worked really well. And I want to encourage you to do the same. For example, when it comes to, think of Tesla. Think how big and successful Tesla is. Oh God, of course you're not Tesla, but think about that. Tesla isn't competing with someone. Tesla has their own mission that they're focused on, and it allows them to go much farther than trying to compare side by side and keeping a side eye out. They're moving forward on their mission. So have that mission focus. Don't get caught up in comparing. It's a waste of energy. Listen to your clients and move toward what they need. So a couple of tools and exercises you can do when it comes to like this professional and personal, what did I call it? Sorry. Internal worth, the professional and personal internal worth. Sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind. So I actually have like a document. So I know some of you guys may have like sales scripts that you work from. I don't really have one of those, but I do have like a template for like my introduction calls with new clients. And I keep that in the template. I have certain things in there that remind me of just like, these are the results I've gotten for people. These are, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. This is what they like about me. These are the results they've gotten. This is things that Ido has reminded me that I'm good at. And it's kind of like just a little visual reminder when it comes to that stuff. So keep a written copy of your worthiness reasons, both personal and professional, as a reminder, because we all have bad days. And also, I have a little accessible file. For me, it's just a folder full of snapshots on my phone, and it's pictures of my social media content, people using on their profile, reviews that I've gotten, testimonials, sweet DMs. So the days I'm feeling, kind of rough, I can be reminded of the people I've helped. So it really does help you hold on to and turn around that feeling of personal and professional internal worth, because you need to have that internal stuff in order to be effective in communicating your value. You have to value yourself to help communicate that value to others, right? Okay, so that's the internal worth. So make sure you have that in mind. If you have questions on that, please just let me know. All right, so I want to talk now about like one-way communications. Now what I mean about that is stuff that people are more likely to read without interacting with you, or not interacting with you as much live. So that would be like your website, email blasts, social media, things like that. So this is very much just a glossing over of the stuff that I go into in depth all the time. Once again, when it comes to communicating your value, it's not so much about you, it's about understanding what your client wants and needs and talking to that, right? You have to know what they want before you can speak to it. So you need to understand, what are their problems? What are their goals? What are they trying to avoid? For example, I came across this quote that's a good reminder. People will take more risks to avoid a loss than to realize a gain. So make sure that they understand what they would lose by not taking action. So that could be, going through an audit, losing out on, your full tax refund, stuff like that. But understand your clients. And on a one-way communication, you have to be a little more generic, because you're trying to speak to an ideal client, of course, but it's still one way. You're not having a one-on-one conversation, but I'll get more into that with like the two-way stuff. So understand your clients. What do they want? What are they looking for? And again, be careful. This is just, once again, I'm just glossing over basic stuff that I always talk about. Talk about benefits for their lives, not the features of your business. They don't want to list to your services. They really don't. And here's something else I want you to keep in mind. Remember, you are your marketing department. That is your responsibility unless you've hired someone to do it. And what goes along with that is it's not the client's job to figure out how you can make their lives better. It's your responsibility to make that clear. So go through your service list and figure out how it makes their lives better. An easy way to do that is to ask the so what question twice. Okay, you reconcile books. Okay, so what? That doesn't connect to me on an emotional level. Reconciling books is an abstract thing, and I don't know how it makes my life better. So you need to figure out, through so what. Okay, reconciling the books, so what? Why does it matter? Okay, if I don't reconcile my books, then I won't know my cash flow, and I may get bank fees and issues like that. So you kind of bring it down. So it's like, this helps you keep money in your business, helps you avoid fines, things of that nature. So that helps you change your service list into benefits. Um, and then also, here's a really good one that I liked. I don't know if you guys follow, if you're a bookkeeper, Bench is a great website. They do offer, like, subscription bookkeeping services, but their blog is amazing. So if you're a bookkeeper, give this a look. They have lots of great content, and I reference them all the time. So they have an article called "How Much Does a Bookkeeper Cost?" And it goes into awesome ways to explain what you do, because you really want to be concrete, you want it to be specific, you want to make sure you're not being too vague when it comes to the value you're giving. So you can't just say, I save you more time, even though that is true. You kind of have to drill into exactly what that means. So this one part of the article that I really like and that you can replicate in your own posts is you save time. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? And you can lay out in your messaging, the time you spend bookkeeping isn't actually free. Think about how much you make an hour. Say you make $100 an hour in your business, and you spend 4 hours doing your bookkeeping. That's $400. Even though you're not paying someone that, that's not billable work. Okay, so that's like a direct cost of not hiring a bookkeeper, right? When you do the bookkeeping for someone, you give them back their time to bill more, right? And then you can compare it against your rates if you want to as well. And you can also talk about the indirect stuff. It's just like, are you really good at marketing for your business? Then why are you in the back room doing bookkeeping? If you're really good at getting clients, go find a client for $1,000 and pay, X percentage less of that to a bookkeeper. You actually make more money going and finding more clients for your business than outsourcing your bookkeeping and not doing it yourself. So that's how you really want to get specific. You want to make it very concrete. You don't want to be vague. You want to tell them how exactly it'll benefit their lives. Another thing I talk about a lot is demonstrating authority. Again, if you're brand new, you can still do this. It's okay. So if you're brand new, share value content, share videos and articles that are helpful, share posts walking through solving simple problems, like maybe connecting your bank feed to QuickBooks, and just go live, share solving problems, demonstrate you know what you're talking about, right? And yep. And then if you do have experience, if you do have clients, leverage that. People speaking for you, like, people take online reviews very, very seriously. So if you share your testimonials, if you share your reviews, it goes a long way to giving you more authority, to making people value what you do more. Oh, someone else values them, so I want to value them more. So share your testimonials, positive comments from previous clients, and share specific results that your previous clients achieved. So something that I can do is, I design lead magnets, so I can share screenshots of the PDFs that I design. I can share, specific results of how many comments or follows that they got as a result of their content, things of that nature. Share specific results that you helped previous clients achieve, and say that you want to help them with the same thing, right? And that way you're communicating how valuable you are in concrete terms that makes their life better, and you don't have to have the conversation with them. Okay, so that's one-way communication. Now this is two-way communication, okay? So I'm talking about live conversations, phone calls, emails, direct messaging, when you're having a conversation live back and forth, okay? The first thing I would tell you, even if you don't close a sale on a phone call, every phone call, especially if you're new at this and just getting started, treat it as research. It is going to give you so much good information. Don't neglect it. Don't feel worried about it. Just get in there and get the most out of it. You'll be able to learn so much about your potential clients by being able to talk to one. So don't worry about practicing and getting it better. We're all practicing and getting our pitches and our sales calls better. So it's a valuable thing. So roll with it. And no matter what, even if the sale doesn't close, you have better content for your marketing that you can put in. So here's some tips that I would give to you regarding how to handle communicating your value in those live two-way communications, okay? The biggest thing is listening. So there's a book that I like about negotiation a lot. It's by Chris Voss. It's called Never Split the Difference. If you haven't read it, it's great. Chris Voss used to be an FBI hostage negotiator. So he is awesome when it comes to being persuasive and negotiating, things of that nature. So what he says is, contrary to popular opinion, listening is not a passive activity. It's the most active thing you can do. So here's what's exciting to me when I get in the phone call with a potential client. Every client is different. They have different revenues. They serve different niches, different personalities. Some of them want to be more professional. Some of them want to be more warm. Every client is different, so therefore they each have different needs, different goals, and different fears. Don't assume you know what each person's goals and fears are. Let them tell you. Also, people, on a human level, people want to feel heard and understood. They do. And if you can give that to them, it's a really good impression that makes them feel like you care about them. A good way to help them feel like you're hearing and understanding, you can do this thing called mirroring. So just repeat the last 3 words of what they said every once in a while. That way you know they're listening. It's actually really interesting. There was a study by psychologist Richard Wiseman. He did a study on 2 groups of waiters, and the average tip of the waiters who repeated the last 3 words of what their client said, they got 70% more than the other group. It makes a difference because the other group of customers felt heard. That was explaining how they felt heard. So listen. You get so much from listening. Don't assume. Also, ask questions. And this is for anyone watching who's been on a sales call with me. You know that I ask a ton of questions right from the beginning of the call. This is definitely straight from my journalism background, but it's served me well. Now here's something I want to make very clear. Some people feel nervous asking questions on a phone call. They feel like it's a sign of weakness, it's a lack of knowledge, that they should just be stating things and coming across very confident. Questions show interest, and if you ask good questions, they're a sign of authority. So you come across as caring about what they think and what they want, and also wanting to learn more. Questions are not a sign of weakness. Questions are a really good thing. And again, this is a really good way to get to know exactly what they want, so you know what to offer them exactly. And also, again, even if the sale doesn't go through, you have all of this information to help you know how to better reach out to the next client, right? So here's some examples of good questions to ask. You can ask them, okay, who does your bookkeeping right now? Okay, is it you, someone in the office? Okay, how much time does it take? Do you feel like it's going well? Is it up to date? Why are you considering hiring someone to help? Why do you want to change? Why are you considering hiring someone? What's your budget for this? And even if they don't give a number, they'll usually let you know, oh, I don't have much money versus, I really value this and I want to put something into it. They'll give you an idea of give tiers of services. It'll let you know what you can pitch. And you can also ask them if you're unclear about what you want. I can walk through some of the common results I've gotten for other clients, common packages. This is another thing. So once again, I love this book about the hostage negotiator. He does this thing called calibrated questions. So the questions that help the other person feel like it's helping them feel like they're in control, essentially. So some of the things are, what about bookkeeping is important to you? What brought you onto this call with me? How would you like us to proceed? What are you trying to accomplish here? Things of that nature. And that's just other stuff. Sorry, I added a bunch of stuff from his book that isn't quite relevant, but I really liked it. Yeah, ask questions. Figure out where they're at now. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of interest and authority. It really is. It makes them feel like you are taking the time to make it about them. So I mentioned earlier about mirroring, repeating the last 3 words on those calls. You can also repeat and restate. So it's kind of a bigger version of that. After they talk for a while, you say something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is, and this is something else from a negotiation book. It's called labeling. And so when you start a sentence with, okay, it seems like, it looks like, it sounds like, you're taking what they said and summing it up. So this has a couple really good reasons to it. One, they're admitting that they want that again. Two, you're demonstrating that you understand what the problem is. And again, like they're repeating that they have this need. So restate what they're going through, and that's called labeling. And so when it comes to the live conversations, they may ask for proof. They may ask you to demonstrate authority. For me, it's probably simpler than a bookkeeper. So I can share screenshots of PDFs I've made. I can send them links to websites I've helped written. I can send them samples of things that I've put together for others, things of that nature. As a bookkeeper, you really can't do that. You can't just like share a QuickBooks login, right? But there are other ways you can go about it. Talk about the results you've specifically achieved. You know, I've been working for X client for so long, and now she has, you know, her revenue has gone up X amount. Her bookkeeping is current when she was behind and on the verge of being audited. She now understands her finances and is able to grow her business more, things of that nature. You can talk about what you've done for other people. A really good way to do this, you can say, okay, the stuff that you're talking about, this reminds me of. So relate what they're talking back to a client that you've dealt with. That'll help them feel more confident in what you're offering them, right? And again, when it comes to this stuff, some people have a sales script to help them, you know, like hit all of the points. And if you do, great. As long as it works for you, sales scripts, no shame, great stuff. But you can also add these kinds of things into a document to refer to. So when someone says, you know, like, well, what's something you've done for a client, and you kind of blank in the moment, have a document ready. So if you need to, take a minute to sit down and put this together. Even if it's after, especially if it's like after a call, sit down, look through the call, and take notes. Take notes, okay, I needed to answer this question, I need to answer that question, I need to have this ready next time. So write out these examples for reference. That way on the call, if you get flustered, you'll have it there. You won't just have to pull it out of your head. You'll be able to tell them real cool, you know, like, this is the result I achieved for this person, this is what I did for that, I can totally do that for you. So you're listening, you're showing that you got it handled, you're making them feel heard and cared about, and that's how you demonstrate your value. You demonstrate your value by connecting with them on what they need, what they want. So, yeah, those are all the good ways. So once again, make sure that you are understanding your own value, your internal value, both personal and professional. And if you have issues there, try and work through them. It'll improve how you communicate your value. Make sure you understand your client, understand, you know, how to explain the benefits and what they want in their, as far as like help from someone like you. And then also when you get in the phone with them, make the most of it. It is such a useful time no matter what the result is. Listen, ask questions, and be confident. You totally have this. So those are ways to explain your value to a potential client. I know this is a long video, so if you hung in the whole time, good job. Once again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I had the link to the content membership over here in the description, whichever side of your screen that it may be on. So if that's something you've been thinking about, give it a peek. There's a week's worth of a free post that you can check out on there and swipe for your content if you need to. And I also am offering strategy content sessions. So if you need help reevaluating and auditing your content, just reach out to me. We'll schedule a call. We'll go through what you got, how to improve it, how to make it great, and how to get you more results. So anyways, that's what I got today. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to you later. Bye.